his part in 1944. Okay?
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you, Sis.
Can we
Well,
go?
then, before I start, I'd like to ask you to all to give my... I can't remember anything, so if there's any slip-ups, you know what it is. I'm carrying on now with 9th Planet. You all heard what they've done at the battery. They come down here, down the road for a bit, and then they had the... I'm going to read this little story out to you, because they had to come up here. Because this ground had to be held, it's high ground, and it had to be held at all costs. And that's what they're nearly doing. Anyway, there we go. Alright. Right, here we go then. About 2100 hours on D-Day, Captain Gordon Brown's platoon landed in the flooded marshes near Breville. He led his platoon towards the 3rd Brigade headquarters at Le Mesnil, over the Mesnil crossroads. Many A Company paratroopers landed in the flooded marshes near the river and near the deeds and were drowned. One party, including Lieutenant Catherine, Lieutenant George Peters, Private Emil Cortale and his paradog Glenn, were killed by an Allied bombing raid, the invasion and bombardment. On the afternoon of D-Day, Lord Lovett's commandos successfully linked up with the 9th Battalion paratroopers at Amphibille. St. Smythe's, Lieutenant Smythe's platoon arrived on the evening of D-Day with the 6th Air Landing Brigade and joined Captain Gordon Brown's force in the Breville crossroads. 2 hours of the company spent during the session fighting off German attacks in their respective areas. At 21:30 hours, Lieutenant Colonel Oxford was formally relieved at Amphibille by the commanders and received orders to immediately move to Chateau-Saint-Come, which is where we are now. And he got to hold this at all costs. There was a large gap between Breville and Le Mesnil that would allow the German attack towards the Orne River bridges. The 9th Battalion was tasked with plugging the gap. The battalion headed the Chateau-Saint-Come at 23:30 hours with Lieutenant Pond and A Company leading the column. The 9th Battalion column arrived at Chateau at 01:30 hours on June the 8th. The Paris decided to defend a wooded area south of the chateau called Bois de Mont. The woods offered better cover and the chateau was likely and would be a likely target for the German bombardment. The Paris sent regular patrols through the chateau grounds to prevent the Germans from occupying the building. At dawn, the military significance of the position became obvious. From the southwest corner of the woods, the Paris had an unobstructed view all the way to the river bridges. If the Germans occupied the woods, they would be able to direct artillery towards the bridges and use the woods as cover to launch an attack towards the bridge and the left flank of the invasion. On the north way, a place on the north side of the woods facing the Chateau grounds. B Company on the west side of the woods facing Breville and C Company on the south side of the woods forming the Italian Reserve Battalion. They also received 3 Vickers machine guns and 3 Prince mortars, enabling the formation of a machine gun platoon and a mortar platoon under Sergeant Maduba and Hennessy. Throughout the 8th and 9th, Paris faced probing attacks to strength, increasing the artillery fire and constant harassment from snipers as the Germans reacted to the Paris being present in the woods. On June the 9th, Captain Gordon Brown brought the elements of A Company he had collected at the Mesnil Crossroads to the 41st and assumed command of the company. By evening, the battalion numbered about 270 men, about half the strength at the strongest it had been since the arrival in Normandy. As you know, they lost a lot of chaff every river. On the 10th, Germans launched 3 attacks. On the 9th battalion position, that steadily increased over the course of the day. Between the attacks, the artillery bombardments and snipers created a steady flow of casualties. The second attack included 2 Mark IV tanks. The last attack, 1900 hours, was beaten back by naval gunfire support for within 500 yards of Paris position. The final stages of the battle included hand-to-hand fighting. Lieutenant Otway learned the next day that the 5th Black Watch Regiment of the 51st Highlanders would launch an attack from his position into the woods and take Breville. In support of their attack, the 9th Battalion C Company was ordered to occupy the Chateau-Saint-Come to protect the island's flank. During the attack, Lieutenant Colonel Otway also ordered Lieutenant Bond to lead an A Company patrol towards Breville, since the islanders would have no time to make a reconnaissance before their attack. For total 30 hours on June the 11th, HQ and D companies from the 5th Black Watch relieved 9th Borough C Company from the Chateau. The Paris watched the assault by A, B and C companies of the Black Watch on Breville. The islanders were stopped well short of their objective, suffering 300 casualties. The survivors fell back to the Paris position in the woods, where the 9th Battalion officers and NCOs rallied the islanders and survivors who were sent to the chateau to establish a defensive position. Later in the day, the Black Watch placed several 6-pounder anti-tank guns in the boat advance and were reinforced by heavy machine gun platoon from C Company, the 1st Middlesex Battalion. On the morning of June the 12th, the 9th Battalion Seabourn contingent arrived and brought much needed ammunition, medical supplies from the north. The resupply came in next time. At noon, the heaviest bombardment repeated today started falling on the chateau in the woods. The bombardment was soon followed by heavy attacks supported by 6 tanks, 4 assault guns, and the 5th Black Watch position in the chateau. The islanders were fell back. The islanders fell back. Several Pala officers, including Lieutenant Smythe, in the position to steady the troops, provide ammunition. As the Highlands anti-tank gun troops were killed or wounded, the Palas killed or wounded, the guns were manned by the Palas, who successfully drove off the German tanks. The fighting was so intense, 3rd Pala Brigade Commander Brigadier Hill personally organised and led a relief force of 30 soldiers from the Canadian Parachute Battalion and 20 sappers from the 3rd Battalion. Squadron Royal Engineers with the Bois de Mont. Palas also finally received armour support from 3 troops of 3 Squadron 1380 Royal Hussars. German anti-tank guns quickly destroyed the first 3 tanks. The remaining tanks being to hasten retreat. The German attack was finally halted 20 hours by naval gunfire. They had a ship out there, Alatusia, which they could fall in support by 6-inch shells. During the attack, Lieutenant and Sergeant Brigade were wounded. On the morning of June the 13th, the 9th Battalion was relieved in Bournemouth by the 2nd Battalion of the Oxford Buckinghamshire Light Infantry. The 9th Battalion suffered 150 casualties during their 5 days in the Bournemouth and left with a fighting strength of 126 men. The battalion moved to Lismore and stayed there in combat until August. That's what Night Parra did. They did a cracking job under the most difficult conditions, and I can say that about the rest of the Parras. 8 Parra, their job was to go across, and I think they blew 5 bridges out. Some of our regiment took Pegasus Bridge. 5 British men were knocked out, so the Germans had no use of them. They'd got to come over Pegasus Bridge, and we weren't going to let them do that. So, and what was going to happen then? Montgomery, as the war went on, they come down this way. Montgomery was taking all fires this end, and then they were going to swing round on the car and go forward then up to the south. Exactly what they did. While this was going on, there was 81 people from the Oxford bodies, and Major Howard's lot, and there was I think 2 sappers on each glider. He had 6 gliders, he had 2 bridges just with 81 men. They landed, this is in the dark, completely without any help at all, you know, in such a short space. But they landed alright, they managed the job. And then we landed on the evening, we came across the bridge, and we went up to a village called Rouvillette, where we went through 13 Parra there. They said that it was occupied, but anyway, as we got into Rouvillette, the Germans had just pulled out. So we had to go on to our objective, which was a place called Escabel. Now the lads of our regiment that took Pegasus did rejoined us then, so we went on as a regiment again, and we went on to Escabel. Now the Germans knew they were coming, they moved back and they dug in on some high ground at the back, and they dug in all down tanks and all sorts of things. Our lads thought there was another walkover, like Rouvillette, you know, so they walked in, and when they got to this one place, all hell let loose then, you know. And we'd lost 80 men and 7 officers. So the CL asked permission if we could pull back to the village we just left, which was Rouvillette. That was granted. We'd already left the village, had left a company in Rouvillette for such a recurrence, you know, so they could give us covering fire on the way back. Anyway, we went back to there, and I remember I sat in the middle of the road, and Sergeant Major said, I was on the Vickers gun, he said, yeah, get that gun down there. He said, I sat in the middle of the road, it was nearly dark. I hope they don't come, you know. They didn't. We dug in there, it was a much better place to hold, you know. I think about a couple of days after, it started with the Messerschmitt fire knives strapping us, and they come at us, some SPs and not, and our lads had a go, you know, and it was absolutely horrendous. The band fire was burning, you know, but in this position we could call in the artillery gun, we couldn't in the other one. So they called in some artillery, and the Germans got within 100 yards of our trenches. And then they had a control. I think they lost 5 tanks and 6,000 armoured cars and a lot of weaponry. And then of course, after all that, we then was told, I thought it was the next day, we got relieved 9 Parra up here. So we started all over again. When we got here, in that drive there was 3 tanks, sorry, one of the turrets completely blown off. there was a civil van just there somewhere with some bodies that the birds couldn't recognise them. And we came down that road there, but the rifle companies came across country. But having the heavy machine, we had a jeep, so we came down that road there. And about half a mile up there, we turned into this road, and as soon as we got round the corner, on the corner rather, there was a parrot on one corner and a German on the other side. They're both dead, like, you know. And we turned the corner, and straight away there was a section of Germans digging in on the side of the road. Well, the jeep stopped, and we went and looked at them, and they were always dead, but you couldn't tell they were dead. And they were marked on. And they were just, whatever they were doing, they were like frozen in that position. You couldn't believe it, you know. And some were digging, others were leaning up by a tree and this sort of thing, you know. So we come on down here, and when we got there, that's the site where it met us, you know. And there were some trees either side of that way there, big trees. And going up there was Paris and Ireland one side and Germans the other side, behind these trees in various positions, doing various things, you know, passing a box of ammunition or looking down the side of the rifle, whatever. And they were the same, they were all dead, but you couldn't tell they were dead. It was very confusing, you know. And all round here, the trees were burning, there was bits and pieces everywhere. There's a stable down there that had been hit, and the horses, of course, killed and what have you. And the smell, it was absolutely unbelievable. And I had a position up there around the left on the biggest gun, and funny enough, but they never, after that, the Germans never ever put a big attack in on us here. They attacked them, and they shelled them all day, and mortar and what have you, you know. 6-barrel mortar. It used to make a squealing noise, like, you know, like the dive bombers they used to have when they squeal and they dive down. It was similar to that, but it was louder, and here it was very loud. It was like, you know, and had all this sort of thing, and they come over at night, and they got anti-personnel bombs on us. They don't go up in the daytime, otherwise the rat would have them, you know. So, and then I was moved in a position, this farmhouse wasn't here then, I was just a few yards up there, dug in there, and I said to the lads on the, I think we did this a bit quiet, we'll have to do, you know. We did that. The next morning at standstill, word come down, attack coming in. So we were all ready with things on the bottom, you know, and the mortars were coming over as usual, and this one was a bit closer, and all hit the ground, and it landed smack on my machine gun. That's about a foot away from us. It smashed the machine gun up, and when I stood up, the belt, the ammunition belt was actually flaming, you know. So I put that out, and I drew my 38. The Allied did find, when they got here, they went in there and looked around for any other Germans, and what they did find was a little Scots lad in the dugout, and he was shivering, absolutely gone, you know. And they got him out like, and he said that what happened is the night before they'd been out on patrol, and the Germans had surrounded them and captured them and took them back and stood them by a wall by the chateau, stood back and then shot them. And he was on the end, and he fell down when the rest went. And he was fighting to death like, but when the Germans had gone, he crawled into this trench. That's where the lads found him. And they went that up where he'd said was, and they were the bottom. And then they went over to the place Howard did, and they looked at him like, you know. There was another thing they found over farther over in the woods. A few Canadians came at one time, well found. And they found a Canadian there, and this German had carried him through, and it stuck to a tree. And as the Canadian fell over his shoulder, he got a knife in his hand, he stuck the German in the back. And they were still there, standing up where they found him. Yeah. And anyway, this went on for as the Germans had to pull back. So what we done, we advanced them and we went through all sorts of villages and little battles and things, and we come to a bridge that had been blown, and they found a little boat, and they got with the locals and they made a raft, and we got the whole regiment to cross this river on the raft. We only lost one Jew. Montgomery come and seen us the next day and put us on the back of that. But yeah, and we went on all the way up to the Seine then, where we were relieved then and sent back to England. That was the next happened. But I'm sure there's a lot of things I've missed out, but I hope that'll give you some idea of what happened here.
That man a drink.
Right, what we're going to do now, if we can, is reverse this bus into that driveway.
What they call pioneers, he got a load of mines. We were moving them here, this place here, and one fell off the van off them, off the truck or something. They all went up. These trees, they were trees obviously. And if you go in that yard there, there's a little shed down there, and the English people did that house, and they dug up what's left of the man. It's in a little shed, and we'll have a look at it. There's one or two graves. It's still there. I suggest you go and have a look, because this monument to the 51st Islander is very nice. It's worth looking at.
If you guys want to have a look before we shoot off, we're in no rush now. We've caught up on time, right? So our next port of call is Pegasus Bridge, where we're going to relax. Oh yeah, car. Yeah.
Scary set,
What time did the lucky wagon come on?
You know the little Polish mask that the parents have got? Well, they changed it a little bit. It's over there somewhere.
Ready? All right.
So you're tired of that.
It's a good camera, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
When there was here.
Use English amongst you, that is a job.
Known as a Scottish person.
Did the price I go into
They should have another one.
They'll be on.
Huh?
They were too easy.
I'm sure they were too busy. Yeah. I'm sure they were too busy.
That was like
He knew a lot of farmers over in
stared me straight in the eye. You know, I said, I can't do that. Yeah, we went back to the hard biscuits.